Dolce & Gabbana SS 2026 luxury fashion trends every stylish woman should see. Introduction. Welcome to Alara Fashion Style, where today I'm exploring Dolce & Gabbana Spring Summer 2026 and the luxury fashion trends that I believe every stylish woman should see. As I watched this collection, I found myself paying attention not only to the garments themselves but also to the broader direction they suggest for fashion. I think this season offers valuable clues about where elegance, femininity, and luxury are heading next. What I find interesting is how Dolce & Gabbana continues to influence trends while remaining unmistakably true to its identity. The return of refined elegance. One of the strongest messages I noticed was a return to refined elegance. In my experience, fashion often swings between extremes, but the most enduring styles usually sit somewhere in the middle. I think Dolce & Gabbana recognized that women increasingly want sophistication that feels natural rather than forced. The collection embraced polish without appearing overly formal. Tailoring takes center stage. Tailoring emerged as one of the most important trends throughout the show. What I find interesting is that structured garments can feel incredibly modern when executed with precision. I think well-tailored pieces work because they create confidence through fit rather than decoration. This season demonstrated how powerful clean lines can be when paired with luxurious fabrics. The strength of monochrome dressing. Monochrome looks appeared repeatedly and left a lasting impression on me. In my experience, dressing in a single color family often creates a stronger visual statement than combining multiple shades. I think monochrome styling feels luxurious because it emphasizes shape, texture, and proportion. Dolce & Gabbana used this approach to create elegance with remarkable simplicity. black remains timeless. Black was a dominant presence throughout the collection, proving once again that some classics never fade. What I find interesting is that black can feel dramatic, sophisticated, or understated depending on how it is styled. I think Dolce & Gabbana understands that black serves as a perfect canvas for showcasing craftsmanship. The result was both timeless and contemporary. Softness meets confidence. A trend I particularly appreciated was the balance between softness and strength. In my experience, modern luxury works best when it avoids rigid definitions of femininity. I think women today are drawn to clothing that allows them to feel powerful without sacrificing elegance. The collection reflected this shift beautifully through fluid yet structured silhouettes. The luxury of simplicity. Many people associate luxury with excess, but this collection offered a different perspective. Unlike most people who expect constant embellishment from luxury brands, I believe simplicity can often appear more expensive. What I find interesting is how carefully edited designs revealed the quality of construction. The restraint felt intentional rather than minimal. Texture over decoration. Texture played a major role in creating visual interest throughout the runway. In my experience, rich textures often communicate luxury more effectively than elaborate ornamentation. I think tactile fabrics invite a deeper appreciation of design because they engage the imagination. Dolce & Gabbana used texture to add depth without overwhelming the overall aesthetic. Focus on wearable glamour. One trend that stood out was the emphasis on wearable glamour. What I find interesting is that the collection felt luxurious without becoming disconnected from real life. I think fashion succeeds when women can imagine incorporating runway ideas into their own wardrobes. Dolce & Gabbana managed to create aspiration while maintaining practicality. The evolution of feminine style. The collection presented femininity in a way that felt modern and confident. In my experience, fashion evolves most successfully when it reflects changing attitudes, rather than simply changing silhouettes. I think these looks celebrated individuality, rather than imposing a single ideal. That approach makes the collection feel particularly relevant today. Heritage as a trend. A fascinating trend I observed was the growing importance of heritage and authenticity. What I find interesting is that consumers increasingly value brands with clear identities and histories. I think Dolce & Gabbana benefits from its ability to draw upon decades of design heritage. The collection felt rooted in tradition, while still embracing the future. The power of confidence dressing. Confidence dressing appeared to be a central theme throughout the show. In my experience, the best fashion trends are those that influence how people feel rather than simply how they look. I think these garments were designed to empower the wearer through fit, proportion, and craftsmanship. That emotional dimension made the collection especially compelling. Why quality matters more than ever. One counterintuitive insight from this season is that quality may matter more than novelty. Many brands compete to create the next viral moment, but I think lasting appeal comes from excellence. What I find interesting is how Dolce & Gabbana focused on refinement rather than chasing attention. This strategy gives the collection a sense of permanence. Luxury in the details. As I examined the collection more closely, I became increasingly aware of the importance of detail. In my experience, luxury often reveals itself through small elements rather than dramatic gestures. I think subtle finishing touches communicate craftsmanship in ways that flashy embellishments cannot. The collection rewarded careful observation. A contrast to fast fashion. Unlike fast fashion, which often prioritizes speed and quantity, Dolce & Gabbana emphasized precision and longevity. I think this contrast highlights why luxury remains desirable despite changing consumer habits. What I find interesting is that many of these pieces felt designed to last beyond a single season. Their appeal was rooted in timelessness rather than immediacy. The emotional value of fashion. Fashion is often discussed in practical terms, but I believe its emotional impact is equally important. In my experience, the clothes people treasure most are those that make them feel confident and authentic. I think Dolce & Gabbana understands this emotional connection exceptionally well. The collection inspired admiration because it resonated on both aesthetic and personal levels. Lessons every stylish woman can apply. As I reflected on the runway, I noticed several ideas that extend beyond high fashion. What I find interesting is that many luxury principles can be applied regardless of budget. I think focusing on fit, quality, and confidence often creates a stronger style statement than constantly following trends. These lessons are surprisingly accessible. The future of luxury fashion. Looking ahead, I believe collections like this offer clues about the future of luxury fashion. In my experience, consumers increasingly seek authenticity and craftsmanship over temporary excitement. I think Dolce & Gabbana is responding to this shift by emphasizing enduring values. The collection felt forward-thinking without becoming experimental for its own sake. A collection that inspires. The more I considered the collection, the more I appreciated its balance of tradition and innovation. What I find interesting is that inspiration often comes from restraint rather than excess. I think Dolce & Gabbana demonstrated that luxury can be expressive without becoming overwhelming. Have you ever noticed how the most memorable looks are often the most thoughtfully edited? conclusion, reflecting on Dolce & Gabbana Spring Summer 2026, I see a collection that highlights elegance, craftsmanship, and confidence as defining luxury fashion trends. I think its greatest achievement is showing that timeless style remains incredibly relevant in a fast-changing world. Which trend from this collection would you most like to incorporate into your wardrobe, and why? If you enjoyed this fashion analysis, be sure to subscribe to Alara Fashion Style for more runway reviews, luxury fashion insights, and style inspiration.